My neighbor said my guests were annoying. He met silence. I'd been living in my apartment for 3 years without a single complaint. Quiet guy. Worked from home as a sound engineer. Kept to myself mostly. Then Caleb moved in next door. The first week, he knocked on my door at 8 p.m. on a Saturday. "Your TV is too loud." I could hear it through the wall. I apologized and turned it down, even though it was barely above a whisper. The second week, he complained about my shower running too early. 6 a.m. is unreasonable. Some of us are trying to sleep. I started showering at 7 instead. The third week, he left a note on my door about my microwave beeping. "The sound travels. Be more considerate." I was bending over backwards for this guy. Then my parents came to visit for the first time in 2 years. They flew in from Ohio. My mom had just finished chemo and wanted to see my new place. My dad took time off work for the first time in a decade. We had dinner. We talked. We laughed. Nothing crazy. Just family catching up at a normal volume. At 9 p.m., Caleb started pounding on my wall. I ignored it. My mom asked what that noise was. I told her not to worry about it. 5 minutes later, Caleb was at my door. His face was red. "Your guests are annoying. I can hear every word through the wall. This is completely unacceptable." My mom's face fell. She looked embarrassed. Started apologizing even though she'd done nothing wrong. That's when something in me shifted. I looked at Caleb and said nothing. Just stared at him. He kept ranting about noise ordinances and respect and how he'd call the landlord. I didn't respond. Not a single word. He eventually stopped talking. The silence made him uncomfortable. He muttered something and walked away. My parents left the next morning. My mom hugged me and said she was sorry for causing trouble. That broke my heart. She'd just beaten cancer and was apologizing for laughing too loud. That's when I decided Caleb would meet silence. Real silence. See, I'm a sound engineer. I know acoustics better than most people know their own names, and I knew something Caleb didn't know about our building. The walls weren't just thin. They were practically hollow, which meant sound traveled both ways. But it also meant that certain frequencies could be completely absorbed with the right materials. I spent the next 2 weeks soundproofing my entire apartment. Professional-grade acoustic panels, mass-loaded vinyl, green glue compound, resilient channels. I turned my living space into a recording studio. The result was absolute silence. No sound left my apartment, but more importantly, no sound entered it either. Caleb knocked on my door a week later. I didn't answer. He knocked again. Nothing. He started yelling through the door. I couldn't hear a word. He left notes. I threw them away without reading them. He tried to catch me in the hallway. I put in earbuds and walked past him like he was invisible. 3 weeks into my silence, the landlord called me. Caleb had been filing noise complaints. "About what?" I asked. The landlord laughed. "He says you're being too quiet, that it's psychological warfare." I told the landlord I'd soundproofed my apartment at my own expense. He was thrilled, said he wished more tenants were that considerate. Caleb started losing it. He'd bang on the wall and get nothing back. He'd stomp on his floor. Silence. He'd play loud music at 2 a.m. trying to get a reaction. I slept like a baby. The thing about people like Caleb is they need a response. They need to know they're affecting you. Without that feedback, they spiral. 4 months later, Caleb moved out. The landlord told me he'd complained that the building was too quiet, that it was driving him crazy, that he couldn't stand not knowing if anyone was even there. My parents visited again last month. We talked and laughed until midnight. My mom said it was the best visit she'd ever had. And Caleb, I heard he moved into a building downtown. Thin walls, loud neighbors. I hope he finds the noise he was looking for.